Hey there, and welcome to a very special episode here for the Vineyard Underground podcast. Drum roll, please. This is our 100th episode. So this is your host here and viticulturist Fritz Westover, and today we're celebrating this milestone of 100 episodes by looking at the vineyard industry through a wide-angled lens in an episode we're calling 100 Episodes in What's In, What's Out, and What's Next for the vineyard industry. And as a fun side note, I'm actually recording this episode from beautiful Tuscany, Italy with my mobile setup. So here we go. Stay with me. Over the past 100 episodes, we've tackled the full spectrum of vineyard management, from pruning fundamentals and canopy management strategies to irrigation efficiency, nutrition monitoring, pest and disease control, and vineyard floor management. We've dug to the underground on emerging challenges like spotted lanternfly, sour rot, and into the depths of cold climate viticulture. We explored grower transitions into regenerative and organic practices and brought in experts to break down everything from crop estimation to spray technology to soil mapping. We've answered grower questions, just like yours, highlighted regional lessons from Arizona to Argentina to England and even Mexico, and shared practical boots on the ground insights for every stage of vineyard development. Today, we're pulling all of that together for what's working, what's fading out, and what's coming next for growers who want to stay ahead of the curve. Whether you've been with us since episode number 1 or you're just joining us today for the first time for episode 100, I promise you this episode is packed with insights to help you be a better grape grower. That's our motto here. And I won't even waste time today asking you to please rate and review the podcast. But then again, I think I just did. So you can insert the smiley face emoji right here. Okay. First of all, let's start with what's out. Planting varieties on speculation is out. The era of speculative Cab, Merlot, and Syrah certainly seems behind us, along with the fantasy that the bulk market will bail out any excess fruit. In today's market, you must have a committed buyer for your fruit or a clear, proven sales channel. Back in episode 87, we talked with Christopher Chen about the concept of mothballing a vineyard, and I honestly never thought that this would be a topic I'd be researching, much less doing an entire podcast episode on. Grape growers have been finding innovative ways to weather the storm during recent slumps in grape and wine sales, including reducing off-farm inputs, mechanizing labor, and even using the downturn in sales as an opportunity to remove unproductive blocks or top-work vineyards over to new varieties that are more in demand with the current market or more resilient for the changing climate. What else is out? High-input, labor-intensive vineyard designs are rapidly becoming unsustainable. Vineyard sites that are difficult to mechanize and layouts that assume cheap labor simply don't work in many cases. In episode 65, we talked with Matt Fidelibus and Alan Thibault about designing vineyards for mechanization and entry-level steps to mechanize virtually any vineyard. So make sure you check that one out too. Okay, so what's in overall? What's in for the future? We are prioritizing varieties that truly fit a grower's region, matching cultivars to local climate, and might I even say future climate, matching to water availability, local disease pressure, and market identity. This is all now essential. It's far more economically viable to plant what thrives in your conditions than to force that dream variety to perform in an environment it was never suited for. So successful vineyards grow with their region, not against it. If you're a newer grower, you may have listened to episodes 7 and 8, where I talked to a panel of seasoned growers who shared their advice to any new grower considering planting a commercial vineyard. That one was titled, "Vineyards Are Beautiful, I Think I'll Plant One." So I'd like to take just a quick pause here to recognize that 2 of the growers on that panel, David Higginbotham and Craig Little, have passed since the making of those episodes, and I'm honored, absolutely honored, to have captured their perspectives that can continue to live here on the underground and help new grape growers in the future. So thank you so much, Dave, and thank you, Craig, and your families for all you've contributed and continue to contribute to this industry. So whether you're planning to plant a vineyard for the first time or replant and redesign a failing vineyard, there are a lot of future design concepts to consider incorporating including trellis design for improving fruit microclimate. This is especially important in hot climates, design for mechanization of canopy and floor management, and even grazing-focused vineyard design, such as we covered with sheep expert Kelly Mulville in episode 17. Also, while there's still a market for traditional red and white wines, there's a growing market for consumers who prefer lighter, fresher, and lower alcohol wines, especially whites, rosés, and sparkling. So we need to pay attention to those trends and learn what is here to stay and what's just a fad. And today's consumers aren't just driven by history and prestige. They care far more about how the grapes were grown, fewer chemicals, sustainable farming practice, and authenticity in the winemaking process. Okay, so let's talk about soil and irrigation management. What's in, what's out, and what does the future hold? This is where vine health, fruit quality, and long-term resilience are either built or broken. Let's start with what's in. Treating soil and irrigation as one system, because that's how the vine experiences it. Soil moisture sensors and plant water status sensors guide irrigation decisions like timing and how long to run the irrigation. We need these products to come down in price a little bit, but we are slowly and steadily getting there. We discussed the use of sensors in irrigation management in episode 24 with Mark Greenspan, so check it out if you want to hear more about that. Soil mapping and looking at electroconductivity layers and variability zones, that's what's going to drive block by block decision-making, design, and management. And we visited with Bubba Beasley, soil scientist, back in episode 29 for why all vineyards should map their soils and how the data can be used for both vineyard design and then successive management. We also talk a lot about how organic matter building, use of organic amendments like compost or biochar, and cover crops are used to stabilize soil and increase water holding capacity. And ultimately, we want precision irrigation, replacing that old set it and forget it scheduling approach to watering your vineyard. Improving efficiency of water delivery to vines is also a big part of future resource management. And if you have not yet done a distribution uniformity audit on your irrigation system, I highly encourage you to revisit episode 41 on this topic with Franklin Gowdy. I learned a ton during my conversation with him, and I know you will too. So get out there and check your distribution uniformity. Every drop counts. Okay, so what's out for irrigation and soil management? I think the calendar-based irrigation and one-size-fits-all soil management programs are out. The days of irrigation, because it's Tuesday, we're applying the same soil amendments across the whole vineyard as one block, is pretty much done. We're done with that. We don't want to over-irrigate. That drives excessive vigor, promotes disease, and waste water. We want to do away with the idea of always doing uniform irrigation sets across all soils and all blocks. More growers are utilizing even double irrigation lines on rows as a relatively low-cost design and implementation to help with variable rate irrigation over different soil types within an existing block. So we've talked about this in the podcast a little bit as well. We're moving away from excessive or deep tillage that destroys soil structure and burns carbon, and we need to stop guessing instead of measuring. The old expression is that if you can measure it, you can manage it. So think about how you can do this within your vineyard budget and get started today.